What's up guys, it's War, with Lies of P officially launching soon for the non-pay-to-win crowd. I want to give you guys my opinion on the best weapons you should use to make the game as smooth as possible, because it is a very hard game. Even compared to Souls, this game has some crazy difficulty spikes, so hopefully these weapon suggestions give you that leg up on the hell that awaits you. This video is going to cover the early weapons pre-chapter 6, so there are location spoilers, but beyond that, there's no boss spoilers. So, if you enjoyed the video and want to see more guides, hit that like button and comment down below your favorite weapon so far in the comments. Now, you start off with 3 class selections at the start. These base stats are permanent, so choose carefully, but all the weapons are buyable from the merchant later on, just before the clown boss in chapter 1. The reason to buy these is for the handles. In this game, weapons are separated by the blade and the handle, and you can combine any blade with any handle, freely without charge, at a resting spot. In particular, the rapier handle is very strong early on for fast builds, since it gives you a forward motion and attacks fast. Now, fast handles, while they make you attack faster, they also make your blade deal less damage and deal less stagger damage. Each handle has its own unique hidden modifiers that affect your damage. In other words, damage multipliers, but again, they're hidden and not displayed. So think of a faster handle having like a 0.7 multiplier versus a slower handle having a 1.2 multiplier. So slower handles are the opposite, good damage and stagger damage, but their slow attack speed is often too slow to be viable, because currently there is no hyper armor or poise in the game. So you're going to be interrupted if you are too slow. So you want a faster medium handle in my opinion. But anyways, that's just the basics. Let's get to the weapons. The first weapon I recommend that you use regardless of your starting build is the electric coil. This is an advanced weapon, in other words a weapon with an element that is found inside the house on Elysian Boulevard in chapter 2. Buy it from the merchant inside and this will straight up out damage all the weapons you have for a good while, since it deals shock damage and all the blade puppets are weak to shock. The exception is the final boss though in chapter 2 ironically, where you may want to use your starting weapon for more physical damage. Also recommend putting the rapier handle on it so you can poke all the bots and have ample time to dodge as well. And just in general, you'll apply shock faster. Second recommended weapon is another advanced weapon, this salamander dagger, which has the fire element. This dagger is straight up useless in chapter 3 where you find it, but in chapter 4 and beyond you will encounter fire weak monsters, so this may prove useful if you're an advanced or dex build. Motivity build, don't bother, but you can find it here at the first stargazer in chapter 3. The third OP weapon is the Booster Glaive. This is found in chapter 3 in the poison pit with the giant robot. Don't worry, Iron Giant is slow. You can rush to this by taking the left side at the first stargazer, or you can drain the pits later on with more exploring to safely acquire it, and well, fight the robot as well. But this weapon is one of the best balanced or quality weapons in the early game. It's got good damage, and the booster handle has a super sick charge attack that lights it on fire. For motivity or balance builds, this is going to be the blade you want to use for a good while. Here is the location area. The Booster Glaive handle, while good, could be better, so the next weapon to get is the Fire Axe, just for the handle, to combine with this weapon. With it, you pretty much get a Bloodborne Saw Cleaver attack speed wise, and the charge R2 propels you forward, which is very good at gaining distance, which is handy because a lot of the times when you guard or perfect guard, you get knocked back a huge distance, and this helps recover that. But this combo is pretty much the best weapon you can use for a good while, at least non-boss weapon wise. But the Fire Axe can be found in the section with the Fireball Trap in chapter 3, starting at the second stargazer. Next are boss weapons, which is gotten from an NPC in Chapter 4, Alidoro. Like Souls games, you can exchange once defeated bosses' ergo souls for weapons or amulets. However, you can only buy one per playthrough, so you need to do 2 runs if you want to 100% get that equipment trophy. But upon speaking with Alidoro, you will have access to 2 weapons, 7-coil spring sword and the holy sword of the Ark. One's for a balance build, other for a strength build. Motivity. I can't speak to how good Ark is, but I've heard people say that's what they use. But the 7-coil is a weapon I used for my tech build for a while, and the damage is good. Its skill is effectively a ripoff of the Blasphemous Blade in Elden Ring, except it's nowhere near OP as Blasphemous is, and frankly none of the weapons in this game come close to the power of weapons found in Elden Ring or other Souls games, unfortunately. But it's still a solid weapon with good reach, and it's got the old Ultra Greatsword roll poke that everyone loves. For most people, it's going to be between this and the Booster Glaive setup. Booster with axe is faster, but the 7-coil deals more staggered damage, and the Fable art is just cool, okay? In Chapter 5, the only notable weapon is the Bonesaw Blade, found in the Malum district. If you want to say buy the amulets instead of the 7-coil or arc swords, this will be the weapon to use for a more motivity based build. It's in the Malum district in that circular section with the big ugly, found on the rooftops near the BBW that throws gunk at you. Climb the ladder to get there, beat her up, and it's yours. Handle wise though, don't use the handle. Instead, go for Bramble. With Bramble handle, you get a nice medium move set, but its handle Fable art does a fast slash flurry that does quite a lot of damage if all hits land, and it also looks freaking cool. With the extra benefit of applying status, really good if you want to throw Nitrous Coil on it, or just use Bonesaw Blade otherwise. Booster Glaive also works for it too for technique builds, but this is bought from the merchant in Malum District, found here. And lastly, the final weapon is one of the weapons I used to beat the game with. It's one of the best technique weapons in my opinion, and that is the Tyrant Murderer Dagger, found in Chapter 6. This weapon actually has crit chance at 30%, and its Fable art can rise it even higher at a mere 1 block Fable cost. Later on, you can also get a crit grinder and achieve 100% crit as well, which is pretty cool with all those crit explosion effects. The beauty of this baby, however, is its attack speed. This thing with its original handle is fast, which means you have ample time to react to attacks, poke, 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 dodge, poke, poke, poke. So you're just going to be R1 spamming over and over and then dodging as well, or perfect guarding if you can pull that off. Every time I tried a different weapon, I would struggle with it, and then I switch back to this and then just beat them up. So yeah, my favorite weapon by far, along with another weapon I'll save for a build video. The only downside is that it does terrible stagger damage, but that's expected, and in spite of that, the DPS on this thing is super high. I never traditionally use dagger builds at all ever in Souls games, but this thing has been too good for me, so definitely my recommended weapon, at least for a technique build, aka a dex build. So yeah, location in the background. Those are the best weapons you can get till the halfway mark in the game. Keep in mind you can change the scaling of weapons to go up 1 grade or down, so you can make a weapon technique or motivity based, although for advanced I have no idea what it does when it doesn't add an element, so kind of weird. But yeah, leave a like if you found the video useful, and again, comment down below your favorite weapon or combination you found so far. I expect a review video soon, giving you my honest thoughts as an action game connoisseur, and of course there's builds to come as well. But that's all for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. But before you leave, make sure to subscribe for more Lies of PP epicness.
The House of